The crucial Moscow format summit on the Afghan situation concluded in Russia. Representatives of 10 countries with high stakes and deep linkages in Afghanistan were in attendance. So was the Taliban delegation. The agenda entailed formation of an inclusive government and consolidating international partners towards preventing humanitarian as well as economic crisis in Afghanistan. Now, the Taliban delegation lined up for a press conference after the Moscow meeting. They have welcomed the initiative taken by Russia and have announced the meeting, saying that it was a very good meeting and participating countries were friendly. The Taliban delegation declared that the participating countries have agreed to unfreeze Afghanistan's assets. The Taliban delegation held a separate high-level meeting with the Indian representatives. The high-level delegation, led by the Deputy Prime Minister Hanafi, met with India's Special Representative for Afghanistan, Pakistan and Iran, JP Singh. And according to the spokesperson, Zabiullah Mujahid, both sides spoke about improving diplomatic and economic relations. The Taliban have also claimed the Indian side has expressed readiness to provide extensive humanitarian assistance to Afghans. While the Taliban expressed its hopes about gaining legitimacy on the world stage, no participating country committed to recognizing the Taliban. The Taliban regime as a legitimate government. The 10 participating countries also pushed the Taliban for action against the Islamic State, particularly in its regional faction, the ISIS-Khorasan, which of late have upped the ante, leading to as many as 50 targeted attacks on Taliban leaders as well as indiscriminate suicide bomb blasts in Kabul. And for more on this, our correspondent Anas Malik is joining us live from Kabul. Anas, thank you so much for joining us. Now the talks have concluded. Could you just give us a roundup of the talks and what this means? What are the practical implications now going forward?
Well, the practical implications would be known in days to come, but the joint communique clearly states a lot of wins for the Taliban. The first being with regards to engagement and calling Taliban a new political reality on the ground. Recognition or no recognition, engagement is absolutely necessary. The second win for the Taliban is that as per the joint communique, it also talked about unfreezing the Afghan assets. So that's a clear win on the part of the Taliban. The third win on the part of Taliban is recognizing their counter-terrorism efforts and expressing satisfaction on that, because we've seen recently the rise of IS. Terrorism is something that concerns the countries of the region as well, all of the participating countries from the Troika, from the Moscow format talks, and therefore the Moscow format joint communique expresses satisfaction towards the Taliban's efforts against counter-terrorism, number one, and number two, it also calls on to respect Afghanistan's territorial and territorial integrity. So the second bit with regards to respect, that's again a win as well, because we've seen the US saying or harboring the fact that the Afghan soil can be used to attack, the US can attack the Afghan soil if it finds any credible evidence against the ISK.
Right, Anas, now we have seen that global powers have they're not ready to legitimize the Taliban. They haven't given that to the Taliban just yet. But with the unfreezing of assets, and also India has expressed willingness to provide humanitarian aid, how will we see that work now?
Well, global powers have been engaging with the Taliban. Recognition or no recognition, that is what the joint communique also talks about. So recognition or no recognition, engagement with the Taliban is absolutely necessary, and this is, as I said, that is a win for the Taliban. India has now agreed to provide humanitarian aid. That is what the Taliban say. It would be interesting to see how that pans out, what route with regards to the humanitarian aid is taken, because we understand that India was willing to give 50,000 tons of wheat to Afghanistan. But how would that be? Would it be through Pakistan, through the Wagah border? Would it be routed through the aerial route? Again, it remains to be seen. International community has been engaging with the Taliban. Two foreign ministers have already come and gone. The Qatari foreign minister and the Uzbek foreign minister. We're expecting the Pakistani foreign minister, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, to arrive today, sometime later today as well. It is in all likelihood that he will be undertaking that Kabul visit. So the international community is eager to engage, but hyphenate engagement with recognition.
Right. Anas, also we know that the participating countries have pushed the Taliban for action against the Islamic State. Now the Taliban say that the threat by the ISIS-K has been overestimated. What can you tell us about this?
I think that is something that the Taliban have been trying to downplay since day one. The threat of the IS, the existent threat of the Islamic State. The Islamic State has been literally attacking the country from east to from east to north to south to the center in Kabul as well, and the Taliban are visibly worried about it. Just yesterday, in fact, less than 24 hours ago, where I am, about 2 kilometers to my back, to my right, is where the Demazang area is, where the blast took place. It was claimed by the IS. One Taliban fighter lost his life. 4 school-going children were injured. Two other Taliban fighters were also injured. So the threat of ISK is real. It is existent. It is prevalent. The Taliban are conducting raids. But their USP, their greater pride that they took in security, that has taken a hit, and that because of that, they are trying to officially, at least on official level, at least on leadership level, trying to downplay the threat of the real threat of the IS. Him.
All right, Anas, thank you so much for joining us with all the updates on that. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.